Good evening. I am Tanisha LaVerne Grant, reporting live from the red carpet at AMC Theater in Times Square, New York City, for the 23rd Annual Urbanworld Film Festival. This is closing night, and the closing night film is an amazing movie by Deon Taylor. You guys know Deon Taylor. He brought us Traffic and The Intruder and Meet the Blacks, and there's also going to Meet the Blacks too. Well, Deon Intruder has come forward again with Black and Blue. Black and Blue stars Tyson Gibson. Tyson Gibson came to fame in the early 1990s with the late John Daniel Singleton when John Daniel Singleton casted Tyrese Gibson in Baby Boy. Tyrese Gibson has since become a blockbuster showstopper. He's going to do his thing in this new movie, Black and Blue with Deon Taylor, starring opposite Naomie Harris. Naomie Harris also is having an amazing career. She's been in Skyfall, Pirates of the Caribbean, and the list goes on. And we also have Nafisa Williams, who is from my neck of the woods, the Philadelphia area. So you guys, October 25th, make sure you get to the theater to see Deon Taylor's Black and Blue. Tanisha LaVerne Grant, blackinamerica.com.
Let me ask you a question. You think you black?
I went to sleep.
You think them your people?
I went to sleep.
Well, they're not.
Anticipating.
We are.
I'm dreaming.
Did you ever forget that?
That I woke up.
These streets are a war zone.
Get up, America.
You're blue now.
All right, Mr. Frankie Smith, how are you doing this evening at the 23rd Annual Urbanworld Film Festival, you young star?
Thank you. I feel so great. I'm so excited. I love this.
So how did you get attached to this amazing title? I mean, Black and Blue, you're working with some legends there, man. Deon Taylor, who did Traffic, The Intruder, Meet the Blacks 2. You got Tyrese Gibson, whose career was launched by the late John Singleton. Come on, man, you're in good company. Talk about that.
Oh man, the way I got it was cast director Megan Lewis, who I have to give all my thanks to, called me in when they were auditioning for the role, and she was like, I knew the perfect person when they were looking for this character, and she called me in. So I was so grateful for that.
Talk to me about an exciting moment you had on set where you're like, oh my God, I'm really part of like a major motion picture here.
I think when I found out, because I was late knowing who was a part of the cast, and when I was invited to the table read, I still didn't know who was a part of the cast. And I get there, and as I'm walking in the door, I'm like, oh, that guy right there looks a lot like Tyrese. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute, that is Tyrese. And then I see like a wall of, they have pictures of the rest of the cast, and I see Naomie Harris. I saw her, and I'm like, oh my gosh. I can't wait to tell my brothers, because they're huge fans of Pirates of the Caribbean. And working with them, it was really, really a treat. She was so sweet.
To Deon Taylor if he was like here right now.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that experience. Thank you so much for your kind words, on set when we were doing my scenes. Thank you for everything, really, because of you, I'm standing right here right now. So thank you.
What does it mean for you to be here tonight, premiering this amazing film, this Sony project, at the 23rd Annual Urbanworld Film Festival? 23 years of Urbanworld, man.
It's incredible. You already know my story, man. I'm already like, every time I step...
Have y'all seen Traffic? Have y'all seen The Intruder? Have y'all seen Meet the Blacks? This guy, and his incredible wife, Roxanne. Get on it.
Yeah, well, this is always a dream, man. You get to stand here and talk about a movie. You kidding me? Like, every time I'm still like, oh my God, this is crazy. And now I'm like, standing next to Tyrese, oh my God. You just sit down and, when this all quiets down, you just sit somewhere and say a prayer. You hope for it to happen again, you know what I mean? And hope for things to go well. And it's a beautiful thing, especially when you work your ass off to stand here. It's a blessing. And this couldn't be no better being at Urbanworld. Like, this is like my roots.
Wow. Plug your movie.
I am. Black and Blue, October 25th. Naomie Harris, Tyrese Gibson, insane. If you love Training Day, if you love Sicario, you need to come see this. And Powerful message, man. One time for the culture, one time for the zeitgeist of the culture. Please support this film. We need it.
It's so amazing to see both of you working together. Talk to me a little bit, Tyrese, about how you got attached to Deon's amazing project, Black and Blue. You couldn't be better cast. I mean, this guy right here is a blockbuster showstopper.
You know, to be honest with you, Deon lived up to this concept that my pastor spoke up on many, many years ago. He said, through favor and through prayers, there's going to be conversations and opportunities that are going to create himself in rooms that you're not even physically in. And that's what he did. He was fighting for me. He had certain people that may disagree with the casting or the choice. They had their favorite go-tos in mind, but he had me in mind and wouldn't take no for an answer because he had a vision to see me opposite Naomie Harris and the grit and the chemistry and the energy that ended up happening. And it takes someone to see it before you're able to do it. So I'm very grateful for Deon, the timing of him doing it after what I just came off of personally for the last year and a half.
We lost a legend this year. We lost John Singleton. I sympathize with you on that. Give me a hug.
But I'm gonna tell you right now, John is smiling down because he knows that I didn't just say yes to a movie or an opportunity. I said yes to the right movie. Because he's never said go just get casted, because I can get casted in anything. Holding out for the right thing and then having someone to put you in that and then have the John Singleton responsibility. He's like, yo, if we gonna do something, this is before John died, by the way. If we gonna do something, we gotta make John proud. It's a different kind of torch, and he carried that. And Naomie Harris is going to shock the world because she didn't just say, I'm from London playing a cop in a movie in New Orleans, but she tapped all the way in. Like, I was at the table reading.
I love the table read story. You got a good table read story for me, Tyrese?
Table read story. The table read story went like this. I met with Naomie, and the whole time she had the English accent on because that's where she's from. We get to the table read. She put the Alicia on it, which is her character's name. And I'm reading, and I'm hearing the voice, and I'm hearing the conviction on her performance. And this was the table read. I went home, and I couldn't sleep for 3 days. I was like, she's about to whoop my entire ass in every scene.
I love it.
I needed this table read so bad because there was electricity going off in my brain. And if you can imagine a boxer who was able to see his sparring partner hit the bag, you remember in Ali when we were kings and he seen Holyfield, boom, boom. I was like, oh, when I heard her performance just in the table read, I'm like, if this is what she's doing in the table read, what's going to happen when we get to set?
I mean, I follow you on social media.
Thank you.
I'm so proud of the woman that you've become because I know the grit and the drive and ambition that it takes to get from where we're from to where you are today. Talk to me a little bit about that journey and how deliberate you were in being strategic about your steps, you know, and taking control of your narrative, your career.
I remember being as little as 11 years old, and I just knew what I wanted, and I made sure that I took all those necessary steps to get there. I wouldn't trade for nothing in the world being from Philly. That grit, that hustle, that grind has made me who I am, and I also feel like it sets me apart in this industry because, like I told him, there's not another Nafisa Williams from Philly who's gonna make her mark in the industry the way that I am. There's only one me, so I decided that if I just be myself and I tell my story and live my life from an authentic standpoint, that I'll win. You know, when I walk in the room in LA 10 years ago, you knew I was different. You knew I was from somewhere else. And for a moment, I thought I had to change who I was to fit into a mold. But it was, you know, when I decided to be my around-the-way girl self that I started to win.
It worked.
Yeah.
I mean, from Black Lightning, and now you're starring in a movie with Naomie Harris.
Yeah, which is a dream. My first film with Sony. You know, I grew up watching Naomie. I grew up watching. They're not a lot older than me at all, but I grew up. You know, they came before me. They were the inspiration before I got here. So to be in a film with them and to be, you know, alongside with them promoting this really great film is a dream.
What do you want to say to young actresses from Philly who want to get into this game? What's the most important thing you want to say to them?
To be yourself. Never let the idea of what you think Hollywood wants change who you really are, because it's your uniqueness that makes you win. Also, just surround yourself with the people who you want to be like, you know, engulf yourself. I left Philly because the opportunity was here in New York, so I surrounded myself with actors in New York because, you know, you have to engulf yourself in the community of what you want to become.
All right, we're at the 23rd Annual Urbanworld Film Festival. This is history in the making. Talk to me a little bit about how it feels for you to be here tonight, celebrating the success of such an amazing film festival that has really made careers.
No, it's awesome. You know, this is actually my first year, sad to say. I was invited last year, but I was
First Urban World?
First Urban World. I had a movie was in last year, but I think I was working, and so I couldn't make it. But this year, when I got the invite, I was like, oh, and I saw pictures. I was kind of mad that I had to miss it last year. I really was. But this year, I'm here with First Wives Clubs, which is streaming on BET Plus. I'm very excited. It's a good show.
So talk to me a little bit about getting attached to this project and what it meant to you to really be a part of it. Because there's that process that you go through. There's the audition, the casting, producer session, the avail. I love talking about that because people don't understand
how hard and stressful
yeah,
it is.
exactly.
No, it was, I have a home in Atlanta, so I put myself on tape a lot of times. It's just
self-tape.
Self-tape.
That's where it is, you guys.
Got a couple little services I use, throw the self-tape down. And then you wait, you get feedback, and they actually weren't quite sure. And so I, for all intents and purposes, thought they had moved on. We were talking about another part, and I was like, nope, it's either Gary or nothing.
Look at this King Tobias.
Yes.
Done blessed us with his presence.
Thank you.
At the 23rd Annual Urbanworld Film Festival. So what brings you out tonight? Talk about your project, when it airs, and how you got attached to it.
Well, what brings me out is the people. I mean, I'm a New Yorker. It's in the city that I grew up in, and Urban World is, the place to be. I'm on First Wives Club. Play Khalil. Khalil's a music producer opposite of Jill Scott. And her character, Hazel, is just really trying to find her mojo back, and Khalil's kind of helps her on the way as far as the music is concerned. And then kind of like down the line, there might be some sparks that might fly. Yeah.
Here in New York City, our beloved Gotham City, there are scores and scores of young men and women who want to be where you are, standing on the red carpet, getting interviewed by your journalists about their work. Talk to that audience about what you think they need to do to get to where you are. Like, what's some words of advice?
Hey, one of the main things I would say is to keep your faith. To keep your faith. Know that, nobody owes you anything.
Wait a second. Can you repeat that?
Yeah, nobody owes you anything. So I think that's key. And then knowing who you are, why you're in the industry. What are you in it for? I was always taught to do the work. So, identify those things, and having your faith is huge, because it's, for all the yeses that you see me on the screen, there's been 100 no's before that. This is a unforgiving business, and you gotta have a good solid foundation.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. So when can we see First Wives Club?
Well, First Wives Club right now is streaming on BET's new platform, BET Plus, and you can catch all the episodes right now.
Look at this beautiful cast here. If not now, when, right? Who came up with that title?
She wrote it.
She wrote it.
Why that title?
It's crazy because at one point the script was called Forever in a Day, and I was like, that's not it. It has to be something that speaks to what every woman in this movie is going through. And it's that. It's, if not now, when are you going to do it? If not now, when are you going to reclaim your happiness? If not now, when are you going to allow love in? If not now, when are you going to forgive? And it just fits.
This is the first time you have two black women, and two women I think that I've ever heard of, coming together and directing a film together. We also both co-starred in it, and we both produced it together, and she wrote it. And so for us, I think it was really about, we had the script, we knew what story we wanted to tell, we both had vision about it, collective vision and individual vision, and once we put the cast together and we were off to the races, it was really just, how do we tell an honest story that is vulnerable, that is inspiring just in its truth, even if it doesn't end perfectly. It's inspiring because it really is about who you are at the core and how you connect with other people, and how ultimately we're all here as human beings. Our purpose is to help each other. That's the one thing that we all have in common, no matter who we are, race, color, size, shape, no matter what part of place in life you come from. And I think that this film really showcases that, and that's kind of really the magic of it.
I love that the film is about sisterhood, because we can't have too many narratives about Black women and sisterhood and the camaraderie. Talk to me a little bit about your role in the movie and what it means to you to be a part of this amazing project.
It means the world because I got to write a song for the movie. My song is called Battle Scars. And you know, when I was writing it, the film, to me, somebody asked a word that represents it. To me, it's transparency. You know, when I was watching the film, it was like, I grew up on Girlfriends. I grew up on that TV show, so it kind of resembled watching that and being able, like you said, to depict the many different Black women that you see, you know, like it was a lot of different stories, and even the men in the film, you know, I was able to be like, wow, he reminds me of my uncle, or that reminds me of my situation, you know, so it was just great to be able to see everyday people in that film, and that's what I kind of wrote the song about, being able to have those scars that everybody can see, but using it to your advantage and using it to fight more ongoing battles. So it was a great pleasure to be able to have my...
Hear a little bit of the song, just a little bit.
Okay. I know you had enough, can't take another cut, got too much in downs, but it can't control it. It's not an easy war when you're falling short. No matter what, you just keep fighting. Wear your battle scars, 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 scars.